So I took this home because I'm always on the search for a new eyeshadow primer, and knowing that it was bareMinerals, you can expect it to be sort of a minimal formula. I've got really sensitive eyes, so it was just a no-brainer for me to give it a go. I like the fact as well that the packaging was a little bit different to the one that I'm using, and I knew that I wouldn't waste as much product. So that was great. However, I'm going to talk you through kind of my experience with it now, starting with the colour. So this one, it won't actually neutralise your eyelid, whereas some, and the one I'm using, do, because they've got a slight tint. It's actually not something I'm mad about, but if you are expecting sometimes your primer to neutralise as well as give longevity, this one doesn't. The doe foot applicator on this and the fact that it's a tube gives you, honestly, I think just the right amount. You don't waste product or you won't apply too much. And that's one thing I really liked about it. It does actually dry quite quickly too, which for me, when I'm in a rush, is perfect. And when I was looking at the ingredients list, it's actually got a few things in there to make it dry quicker and to feel more soft on the eyes, which is good for keeping something, keeping the look nice and smooth and even. In terms of then what else is really important, bareMinerals say that this lasts for 24 hours. I'm a bit old now, I don't go out raving to test it for that long, but the longest it lasted on me was around 11 hours, which is all I need. I don't want it to be hard to remove my eyeshadow, or I don't want it to be, fading within sort of 5 or 6 hours. So it's a really good happy medium. In terms of pigment then, it did help to improve the pigment of my eyeshadow. So I put the primer here, you can see it's dried really quickly. Ooh, let's test it with that versus that. So you can see there's an instant pigment change. It's not the most eloquent of swatch, but you can see there how it will also impact your eyeshadow colour. It is a little bit more expensive than your normal eyeshadow primer, but I think that's down to the fact that it's such a minimal formula. So I would highly recommend you give it a go and let us know what you think.
So I really enjoyed using the bareMinerals Prime Time. I found that it was I loved the texture. For me, that was my favourite part. It was just so serumy and lightweight. It felt like skincare. I loved how long it made my eyeshadow last. The only tip I would give is that once it's down and you cannot pick it back up, and it will start moving around because it's so keeps your makeup in place. You can't make little errors, so you've got to be more confident with your brush strokes.
This product is quite different to other primers that I've used. I've used other brands' primers and it was kind of a thicker concealer really, which I don't think give the same stickiness or the adhesion that this one does. I used it and shouldn't admit to this, but I didn't clean my makeup off the next day. The eyeshadow was still there, which is a really good longevity test. So I would definitely recommend this. It's probably better for a younger person who wears brighter, more vibrant eyeshadows than I do. I don't at the moment because my eyeshadow tends to travel or rub off, but I think this would make me braver in my choices because I'd be more likely to believe that the eyeshadow would stay where it was put and where it was meant to be. So I definitely recommend this product.
So I've been testing out this eyeshadow primer all month and I've really liked it. In the past, I've kind of dabbled between either not using an eyeshadow primer at all or using one that's quite heavy. So the MAC paint pots I used to use a good few years ago, to be honest. They give colour as well as prepping the eyelid, which is really good if you're going for bold pigment and you really want to show that colour. Now that I'm a bit older and I don't wear eyeshadow that much, I actually tend to just wear bronzer on my eyelid. So the reason I've really liked this one is because it gives kind of a soft focus effect to the eyes. So it's a really lovely base for your eyeshadow, but it's nothing too overpowering or nothing too heavy. It's really lightweight. I also do quite like that it doesn't have a colour to it. Let me show you the texture. It's kind of like a gel, to be honest, but it feels really light on the eyes. It doesn't feel too heavy, but it just creates this perfect base for your eyeshadow, and your eyeshadow grips really lovely to it. Like I said, I've been using bronzer as eyeshadow for years. It's my go-to, it's what I'm wearing today, and I'm wearing this underneath it. And it just helps to make sure that my eyeshadow isn't dragging across my eyelid, sits there all day, doesn't move, because I do tend to get creasing, but with this, whenever I use it, it doesn't happen. I love that the tube is small because it's compact in my makeup bag, but that said, I have been going through it quite quickly because I've been using it every day, and if I've been doing my makeup twice a day or going on holiday where you're changing your makeup quite a lot, I just think I could go through it very fast, whereas some of my others might last a bit longer. So that's the only downside. I really like it. I just wish it was a bit bigger so I wouldn't have to repurchase it as often. I haven't really taken a log of how long this lasts, but I haven't ever had to do any touch-ups, and when I've looked in the mirror at the end of the day, my eyeshadow pretty much looks exactly the same as it did at the start of the day. So maybe 8 hours wear is what you could expect.